Hi everyone. I'm at the site of a series of cement kilns. I'm on the Bruce Trail, a few kilometers away from Queenston, and back in the day there were 6 limestone kilns here for the manufacture of cement. Now, back at the quarry, the Queenston quarry, they used to mine cement rock, and it actually wasn't quarried, it was actually mined. So there are miles of tunnels underneath the Queenston quarry, or at least there were back in the day, and they would mine the cement rock out of the quarry area and then bring it over here and crush it and load it into the top of the kiln. So they would load the bottom of the kiln with a big fire of coal and wood, and then they would fire the limestone for a number of days. It was pretty much continuous. And then out of the bottom they would take the fired limestone, and then further down the hill they had a mill where they would do the final crush, and then the mill would package the cement into 250-pound wooden barrels. So you can imagine it's very labor intensive, and they're using gravity here to their advantage. You know, the level at the top here is where the crushed stone from the mines would come in, and then they would process the materials and then take it down the hill here, because we're right on the edge of the escarpment, and it would go way down the hill here somewhere to the crush mill on a conveyor belt, and then the mill would package it all up. And further down there was a warehouse and a railway line there where they could warehouse the cement, and they could also transport it out of the area by train. So this is quite the cool construction. It, like I said, it dates from around 1870, and the 6 kilns are still pretty clearly visible here. There's been a lot of erosion of soil, so some of it's a little bit buried, but you can still see where the fires were here, and where all the material would come out. So presumably this would be one of the spots where the firing would be loaded in. You know, the coal and wood would be loaded in, and then the cement would be taken out. And they definitely use the geography here to work with them. It's all downhill from here. So this thing is extremely robust construction. It's all limestone blocks here, and you can see where they did the original 2, and then they did an expansion on each side to add 2 more on each side. You can see the line here where the old part was, and then the new part. So they really matched it up really quite nice. So these timbers look like they're original, which is quite amazing by itself, considering it's something that was built in the 1870s. And if you look further up, there used to be wood all the way up, or at least a timber going across every 4 or 6 feet. But it looks like some of those have been lost at the time. So you can see there's quite the slot there where an old timber used to be. And there's some massive big bolts going through, holding it all together by the looks of it. But still quite an interesting and great surviving example of the early industrial times in this area. So this would be one of the fire boxes, one of the places where they would have made a fire to roast the cement rock up above that they've loaded, and then all of the smoke and whatnot would go up the kiln inside there and exit out the top. Gosh, hard to know what the landscape looked like around that area at the time. I imagine there was a lot of smoke. So you can see the kiln was constructed of limestone on the interior as well, but then further up there's a lining of fire brick. So there are 6 kilns altogether. Like I said before, there's 4 in the middle that were originally built, or I'm sorry, there were 2 in the middle, and then it looks like 2 were added on each end. So you can see here where the kiln was lined with fire brick. It's pretty impressive construction. You can see this detail here where it's curved. Not sure if it was supposed to be curved like that. Interesting. Really impressive construction though for the day. You know, we're talking about the 1880s here, so you know, an immense amount of work to put this thing together, and then and attach it to the hill, basically the escarpment bluff here, which is, it's probably a drop of 30-40 feet. You can still see remnants of the bolts and the bars that they used to attach it to the escarpment cliff. Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to join me on my next adventure.